Just met somebody out here on the battlefield, and I got a little special here for you, some information that I would not have known about. This is Dan Howd, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the 149th New York Infantry's monument and explanation of the bronze plaque in front of it.
The 149th New York was the 4th Regiment from Onondaga County. They were known as the 4th Onondagas. And next to us we got the 122nd New York, which is the 3rd Onondaga. They were the 3rd regiment that was mustered from Onondaga County. The 122nd left Syracuse in August of 1862, and the 149th followed shortly after in September of 1862. And while the 149th was mustered in the 12th Corps, the 122nd mustered in the 6th Corps. So both being Syracuse regiments, this is the only time that these two regiments actually saw each other during the entire length of the war, their entire 3 years of service. These two Syracuse regiments only saw each other and met together here on Culp's Hill during the Battle of Gettysburg. 149th went on to serve in the Atlanta campaign, where the 122nd stayed pretty much in Virginia. Neat thing about the 149th monument, which is near and dear to me because I've got 6 ancestors that actually fought in the 149th, is it depicts Color Sergeant William C. Lilly. And he was the color sergeant at the beginning of their length of service. And here at Gettysburg, he's depicted mending the flagstaff. During the battle, the flag of the 149th was riddled with over 80 bullet holes. And during the battle here at Culp's Hill, the flagstaff was actually shot in two, twice during the battle. And Color Sergeant Lilly actually went over the breastworks to retrieve the downed flag and placed himself in enemy fire, brought it back over, and proceeded to splint the broken flagstaff with slats of wood from a hardtack box and the straps from a knapsack, and he splinted the flag. Now, a member of the 149th that fought here and saw this happen was a man by the name of George Sagan, and George Sagan was an enlisted man with the 149th, and he made a sketch after the battle of what he saw Color Sergeant Lilly do. And later on, after the war, when they were designing a monument to dedicate to their service here at Gettysburg, it was decided that George Sagan's sketch of Color Sergeant Lilly mending the flag would be very appropriate for their monument. So they took George Sagan's sketch, and an artist by the name of Edwin Forbes actually took George Sagan's sketch and converted it into the bronze relief that you see here now. The bronze relief that you're seeing on the monument was actually done by Edwin Forbes, but it was done through a sketch provided by George Sagan of the 149.
Wow. And again, as I did on my 90th Pennsylvania and 23rd Pennsylvania videos, a lot of these monuments here, you look at them, they actually do have a story that they tell. And if you want to review the 90th Pennsylvania video I did and the 23rd Pennsylvania, you'll see the stories they tell, just as this monument here has a story based on this bronze plaque on the front. Again, I want to thank you for your information, and feel free to comment on this video, and we'll hope you return soon for our new video each and every day. Okay, we're going to do a follow-up here at the 149th New York Infantry Monument. It was kind of interesting now that I just happened to bump into a guy that was his descendants fought in this regiment, because just a day or two before, I was looking through some materials and online and doing some research on this very group and this monument, and actually the rock carvings that are nearby here. There are certain rock carvings right here near the 149th that we're going to look at. This one's P. Sachs or Sachs. The other one's A.W. Allen W. Leitner, and they both say 1871 underneath. They apparently were teenagers that lived here in Gettysburg that came and carved their name here in this rock near the 149th New York Infantry Monument. And behind this monument, there's also a rock carving here, because back here, and I've known about the carving myself since about 1987. But his theory on this is pretty. You see the name J.E. Thompson, and then there's some writing up top here, which can be a little bit hard to make out. Originally, another monument sat here to the 149th, and it was not liked. The veterans of the 149th hated this monument. They had it destroyed, and they had another monument put up. Now, the original monument that was made to the 149th was made by a company in Rhode Island called the Smith Granite Company that were in Westerly, Rhode Island. This monument does not appear to have that name. However, the one across the street, the 65th New York monument, was made by the same company that originally made the 149th's first monument that was rejected. And if you go over here to this monument and you look around the side of it, and we're going to take a walk over there now, you will see Smith Granite Company, Westerly, Rhode Island. Now, as we walk back to the 149th monument, and we look behind at the rock carving, where J.E. Thompson carved his name. And by the way, there's the other rock with the Peace Ox and A.W. Leitner, 1871. As we walk back here behind this monument, and you look at this carving a little bit more closely, you can see the J.E. Thompson here, and then there's some other writing. But up here, it says Westerly, Rhode Island. So most likely, what had happened here was that the original monument that was made by this granite company, Western Rhode Island, it is a possibility, it is no fact or any basis on it, but it is a possibility that J.E. Thompson either worked for this granite company and may have been somebody here that would place the monument and set the monument, because usually they'd set these monuments a couple weeks before the soldiers would come here and dedicate them. He may have been someone that came here and assisted in setting this monument up, the original monument rather, carved his name behind the rock only to have the veterans reject it and put another bid out there and have another monument made by a different company. So it has the company of the original monument and maybe a guy that worked for him, and now the monument has been changed. I don't know if anybody else knows, let me know, but there's also a spot over here, and it was pointed out to that gentleman that just did the video, where it looks like some kind of a monument once sat, or something sat here. And he was asking me if I thought it may have been the spot of the original 149th monument, and that I don't know. I have to go back and look at the picture, but the pictures that Tipton took were generally pretty close up. They didn't really show a lot of, you know, it wasn't taken from an angle like this where you could see monuments or the hillside in the background. They were pretty straightforward photographs, you know, that may look something like this. So this has been a supplement to the 149th New York Infantry, just moments after meeting a descendant of a 149th soldier here and him doing a video. Of course, I'll be posting both videos here, and I hope you guys enjoyed them.